How's it going, guys? Tony K here with UGSM, living the dream as always, and today I want to talk about an event we recently did. We did the county fair here in Vermilion County, and I want to give some highlights from it. For those of you that are new, my wife and I both make different things. I do paintings and stuff like that. She does jewelry and stuff with resin, and together we go out and we do a lot of market and vendor events trying to sell our stuff. Now, last week we did the Vermilion County Fair here in Illinois, and it was a 5-day event. We only did 4 of the days. We had to miss Saturday because of a wedding that we really wanted to go to. And I just want to give some highlights and stuff from the event itself. Starting right here. So it was a Wednesday to Sunday deal, and Wednesday I showed up and got us set up in our spot, and as you can see, all set up and everything. We were only there for one night. Between this spot being in the second building that they had vendors in, where it was actually an exhibition building, and there was about 7 other vendors in there that all of us struggled night one between the weather and then just no foot traffic. So the event coordinator decided to move us over to the other building for days 2 through 5, which brings us to this. So Wednesday we survived, very few sales, very few people coming through, not a lot of foot traffic. Thursday, again, I had to show up several hours before the event started so I could move everything. And it kind of sucked, I'm not gonna lie. It was a little tough moving again because we couldn't do a full breakdown. So this is the setup for Thursday. And honestly, Thursday through Sunday were a lot better than Wednesday, just based on sales and foot traffic. We were in the main building with all the other vendors. Nobody was left behind. The event coordinator did a great job. The only real issue I had, and if you watch the lives and some of the other TikToks I loaded, is right up here, that walkway. That actually wasn't a pass-through for people, but a lot of customers thought it was. We ended up bringing in the table and our cash stand together to make kind of like a U in our booth so people wouldn't at least walk through. It just didn't make us comfortable. And I really wasn't a big fan of having customers walking back there, coming behind us unannounced, things like that, because the lady right over here to this side, she actually had stuff stolen from her. Now she was making jewelry where it was like rings and stuff, and a couple of kids came through, I guess, and stole it. But it just made me uncomfortable to leave us at that risk. So that was really my only complaint, was trying to get people not to walk through them. I lied, I do have another complaint. It's 2024, enough of these. The amount of teenagers that could not stop laughing, it was wild, man. Like, we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of these. It's 2024. This little guy came by multiple times to hang out. Seemed like a good frog to me. But look, here's my overall take. First off, Allie and I normally do like one event a week. And our normal farmers market family is a 8 to noon on Saturdays with about a half hour to an hour beforehand and maybe a half hour after for setup and tear down. So at most 6 hours, okay? We've done other events where it's like set up the night before, come in the next day, or maybe a Friday night and a Saturday. We've never done anything that had this many days this packed together. And that was a huge learning step for us. Not to mention the fact that the weather was actually quite agreeable and pretty easy to deal with for these days. So it made it really tough to gauge the whole experience, because generally the end of June, the last 5 days of June, you don't get 3 of those days being in the mid 70s. So I guess if you're still watching, this is where I'm going to break it down to the good, the bad, and the ugly of this experience. The good, made some sales. We actually made some friends too. Trying to look at so the people that are on this side of us is a young lady and her fiance who we hit it off with them, and she actually does I believe she said it's a couples D&D, but she invited both of us. We're probably going to try it out there right here in the Vermilion County area. So it'd be nice to actually have somebody that, if they're playing D&D, can invite us and we can join. Lady over here, After we got settled and met her, super nice lady. Both our neighbors were great. We knew a lot of the people in the building as well. And there's actually a guy who was not this lady, but to the next one over, and we made friends with him. We realized he lives right by us. We're gonna hopefully stay in contact with him. We also both got multiple commissions out of this 5-day stretch. So that was pretty cool. And a special shout out to the event coordinator. Her name was Kara. She was super nice. It was her first time doing this. Everyone that we talked to who had done these county fairs before said the night and day difference between her and the previous lady couldn't be measured. The bad was it was a little bit slower than what we had anticipated. It was a little tough getting settled at first, kind of getting moved around, things like that. And also, we're starting to realize that maybe some of our stuff doesn't translate well to going to fairs and stuff like that, because people want to go and do their rides and eat and everything, and then if they have money left over, they'll do it then. Some of our stuff, whether it's jewelry or paintings, carrying it around, putting money aside, things like that, we're not overpriced by any means. We consistently have people tell us how our prices are low. It's more so carrying this stuff, and you don't necessarily go to fairs for art, I guess is what I'm getting. Another bad is just the genuine fact that we did not give enough credit to the fact that 4 market days over 5 calendar days, where we did a total of 30 hours in those days, that's tough. That was really tough. The ugly was the food. By day 2, we were already kind of burned out with the idea of driving home to cook and things like that, because between time and how much gas and everything, it was a lot of work. So we started eating fair food, and there is a reason why I only go to the fair for 1 day and maybe eat 1 or 2 things. By the last day, nothing tasted good, and it was more so just eating as sustenance. But overall, I don't think it was that bad of an experience for us. Now, in terms of moving forward, I don't know if we'll do this event again. And there's a few reasons. First is, like I said at the beginning of this long video, the weather. The weather did not impact us as much as it generally would this time of year. And as slow as it was at times, not to mention these barns are not great for airflow and things like that. So it was kind of disgusting in there at times, muggy and whatnot. So that kind of makes it hard to gauge if the foot traffic was good and things like that. The other problem is that this fair, in the past few years, from what we've heard from people, is it was on life support. So it wasn't the biggest gathering of people, but this was actually kind of in our backyard. Like, it was within 10 minutes of our house, and the event itself cost $50 for the entire thing. So $10 a day with as much foot traffic as they were anticipating is a really good deal for a vendor. The main reason, though, I don't believe we'll go back is because by Sunday, we were exhausted, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience anymore. We were losing a lot of the fun. It had nothing to do with the sales. It was hot, it was muggy, and it's a long day. Sunday was noon to 10, and we actually were told we could break down early, so we left at 7 or 8, something like that. So we didn't even get the full day in, but we were beat. So all things equal, all things considered, it wasn't a bad experience. Again, we made some really good friends that we look forward to keeping in contact with, but it was a big take on our part. We learned a lot of stuff, and it pushed us outside of our comfort zone. So a lot of positives. I think that based on how we're used to doing our events, though, and based on how we're used to being market vendors, this really probably isn't the best setup for us. 5 days in a row in the heat, that's a lot. So, yeah. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you like, comment, share, something. Just do something to engage and help me out. I do appreciate everyone who watches these. And if you're a vendor and you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, feel free to comment below. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you next time.